What is the impetus for premium publishers to go into, and the opportunities in a programmatic way, either through a kind of a private scenario or an open exchange, or why should they do it if they're doing so well in a direct sales?
No, I think that's a very good question, and obviously I think you're only doing that if you're not able to fully monetize all your video inventory at a premium rate. Obviously, if you can do that, there's no reason going to a open platform or a programmatic or even a private marketplace, because no matter how well you do with those solutions, obviously you're not going to do as good as if you sell it as a premium format, as a premium sell. So as I said, I think this has very much to do with the inventory that are in the market, not only at HuffPost but in general. I think there's been a huge demand for video, which is also why it's not moved as fast, because there's still in many ways higher demand than there's supply, and obviously that equation needs to change for it to start to flow through the platforms.
So Jimmy, tell us about your business, the video business particularly. What's driving the growth for you? Do you think it's coming out of what might have been a traditional TV buy? Is it sort of a new area? Where is money shifting into your buy, if you see it that way?
No, I think it's an interesting question, and I think it'd be interesting to actually take a step back to kind of look at what are the macro trends that are driving this. And obviously, because at the end of the day, we need to follow the users, the consumers. We need to kind of be where they are, and obviously we need to kind of make sure that we get our fair share of those eyeballs. And one of the big trends that we're looking at right now is, if you look at the big platforms, if you look at a Facebook, over the last 6 months, video views has doubled on Facebook. If you look at YouTube, 100 million hours of video uploaded every minute. If you look at the latest predictions for mobile, over the next 5 years, they expect it to kind of grow by 14 times. So those are huge numbers, and obviously if you're not paying attention to that, I don't think you're investing enough in video. The dollars are not kind of following right now. There's a gap, meaning that there's not enough money, advertising dollars invested in video at this point in time. There's actually more eyeballs than there's ad revenue going into it. But we also know that over time that gap has to be closed, and it will be closed, because otherwise you're not investing the best possible way. You're not investing your advertisers' money the best possible way. So I think that's one of the big themes, and obviously that's one of the reasons why we at HuffPost are very bullish on video and have ambitious targets for where we want to be with video in a year from now.
So tell us a little bit about the monetization strategy around video. Is it primarily in stream? Are you doing customized video? Give us a kind of an overview.
It's a combination. It's all of the above. So it's, of course, we do customization, bigger sponsorships. So in many ways, going 50 years back to the soap operas, selling all the space around the shows, around the things we're doing, in order not to create too much of an interruption. And I think in many ways that's also a model that works really well with video. Not that we can't do post-roll or pre-roll. We're also doing that. But obviously it is, when you have a young medium like video, you also need to kind of be careful about how you monetize it. And I think what I see out there in the industry is, I get a little bit disappointed when I see a 30-second pre-roll before a 30-second piece of content, because I think that's not a fair trade-off. And I think we always need to think about what is the trade-off for the audience. What is it we're putting behind that pre-roll, and how we're serving it up. So I think there's still, we're still finding that out as an industry. Video is still young, and I have high hopes for obviously the continued growth of video, but also the investment that will go into video.
And just as a follow-up, in terms of the monetization of the live stream, the live program, you guys don't interrupt it with ads?
No.
Or
No.
So the ads. So tell us how an advertiser, works with you around the live stream.
No, as I said before, very much going 50 years back and sponsoring a show. So it could be, we have something called Tech Talks that could be brought to you by Cisco or something else, and you can have a takeout in the end where you can promote something or talk about your brand. So that's one way of doing it. But we never do or we haven't done, at least in the past, we haven't done interruption. And I think, you know, the reason for that is, you know, I think that is one of the reasons why we see advertising fatigue, is because, you know, we interrupt people too much. And when we started HuffPost Live, we wanted to create something different. So we also had to look at how we're going to monetize it, you know, from a different perspective, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to build HuffPost Live into what it is today, with 100 million video streams a month, you know, with 25 million unique visitors on a monthly basis. We wouldn't have been able to do that in 2 years' time. I'm 100% certain of that if we from the very beginning had over monetized it, had put, you know, a lot of ad blocks, ad breaks into the shows that we do.
Cool. And Jimmy, just using your crystal ball here, what's next for the industry with video, or what's next for you guys in the HuffPost in terms of perhaps the way that you're going to monetize, programming, the platforms for consumption? What's next?
For us, what's next is really, you know, it's the right topic that we're talking about here. For us, next is really video. Not that we haven't tapped in or leaned into video already, but we're, you know, over the next year we're going to be very ambitious with video, just because of the macro trends that I talked about before. You know, that's what we see, that the users, what the communities are interested in, they consume it en masse when we have it. Right now on our platform, our video views is you know, less than 10% or around 10%, between 10 and 15% of our views. We want that over the next year to shift to 50%. So we have a commitment now that says 50-50. We want 50% of our views to come from text-based content and 50% to come from video. And that's, you know, that's basically tripling kind of our video inventory, which means that we need to produce a lot more video. We're not producing at all the amount of video we need in order to actually deliver on that strategy. So what you will see from HuffPost is you're going to see a lot of new formats, you're going to see new shows, and you're going to see new ways of making video interesting for our audience.